Greet you in the name of the universal just God who blessed us with soul of Trinity. Pre-employment drug tests are prevalent in the United States with very disturbing consequences. The short-sighted may argue drugs are not good anyway, but by denying people employment, we are essentially sending them to the streets. We make them criminals or harder criminals. People end up committing much worse crimes than using drugs, not necessarily due to drugs, but because we deny them employment. Crackheads hardly look for a job. It is mainly marijuana smokers who are affected by pre-employment drug tests. Companies know that calling it pre-employment marijuana tests can create problems. So they ask the testing companies to test for marijuana and one or two other drugs. If you use ecstasy or the latest street drug, you are less likely to fail the test. Needless to compare if such uses are more dangerous than the marijuana and alcohol uses, we must question the need for such tests and the effects on society. What kind of jobs should require drug testing? I remember going for a drug test for a bargain job at a supermarket in the United States. The number of times I went for pre-employment drug tests in the United States are uncountable, often for low-paying jobs that only minorities, immigrants, and students may scramble for. Better-paying jobs that call for more responsibility are hardly drug tested. This is all in the United States, and why is the sharp differences? Obviously, within the United States, some states are worse than others. When I moved to Canada, I struggled with similar countless low-paying jobs but never been drug tested. Until recently, I hardly stay more than 3 months at a job for reasons beyond this discussion. The simple reality is Canada has similar marijuana problems as the United States, but due to the fact that Canada struggled with labor shortages, Canadian companies and the Canadian government know a lot better than copying the United States in their insane pre-employment drug testing screenings. Even though most US companies exist in Canada, there can be diverse standing on drugs within the same company and or their affiliates between the two countries. We are saying unnecessary pre-employment drug testing is wrong based on thinking and regardless of where. We are saying it has worsened due to copying within the United States rather than learning beyond her borders. Just like individuals should learn from each other, companies from companies, countries should also learn from each other. We are not here just to analyze, but to make a difference, to improve US companies from unnecessary drug testings. If both CS Canada and CS US subject people to unnecessary drug testing, it is still our responsibility to improve them. If CS Canada does not require pre-employment drug tests, but instead happens to have a program that will help her employees and their relatives in drug-related problems, then we should be extra hard on CS US to emulate such beautiful standing. You may not believe it if you live in the United States, but indeed CS Canada has this drug helping program, and so are many other companies in Canada. Not many companies will fire an employee for drug use problems in Canada, unless you show it at the job. There are countless Canadian companies filled with fairly responsible marijuana smokers supplying US companies. If marijuana smokers are safely operating dangerous machines in Canada to make products for US consumers, then why should we deny marijuana smokers the right to a bargain job at a supermarket in the United States? If both Canada and Netherlands have comparable job-related accidents with the United States and lower crime rate than the US, then we should seriously question if pre-employment drug tests is at least partly responsible for the higher crime rate in the United States. It is important to understand that companies should not assume police responsibilities. And pre-employment drug test does not in any way complement police operations. It hardens it. For every teenager we deny employment through drug tests, we can guess 2 will stay away for various reasons to eventually apply job at the street level. Police jobs become harder. Our communities become less safe. Our taxes go higher, and we keep blaming each other. Whereas if we embrace that mistaken teenager through employment, responsible co-workers may influence him or her to being drug-free. She will spend less time with worse criminals. We will draw from the streets rather than send to the streets. The war on drugs has woefully failed in the United States because of a fundamental fact. She who does not tolerate deserves the intolerable to learn to appreciate the tolerable. I repeat, she who does not tolerate deserves the intolerable to learn to appreciate the tolerable. There is a limit to how hard police and judges can be. And the civil world must exercise patience and tolerance before police and judges. Rather than trust, I am more comfortable with daily taking of alcohol and marijuana breath level of pilots than daily passenger pat-downs. Companies can buy similar machines as well. We are not condoning being high or drunk on the job. We respect Soul of Trinity separately and collectively. Many countries have pre-employment drug testing on about 1% of highly responsible and dangerous jobs. Only America tests against marijuana more than Saudi Arabia may ever test against alcohol. I doubt if there is pre-employment alcohol test in Saudi Arabia, and even that cannot justify America's wrongs. It is more important to ask why, because America has neither less work-related accidents and her general crime rate is a lot worse than many countries. Stopping or reducing these unnecessary drug tests will require more concentrated efforts with diverse approach. We will need a website that will list guilty companies to possibly urge people to boycott their products and or services. Research and updates to share for historical records, possible lawsuits. Although related, the Stop Pre-Employment Drug Test movement needs to always stand separate from the call to decriminalize or legalize marijuana. I doubt if there are many people who will find it hard to understand this is for our common good. We all know people who use marijuana and responsibly hold jobs better than people like myself. Some do not know how to pass drug tests, some are self-employed, and some do not have friends to pass for them. And those are the people that need help. I remember taking pre-employment drug tests for 2 of my friends. I certainly didn't feel like I was committing a crime, but rather helping someone to get a job. So I'm not urging you to take a drug test for someone, but you can certainly contribute to this project that will provide more people work opportunities and steer the mistaken from the streets. How can you help? How can you help? Spread the information. If you know a company that practices pre-employment drug tests, please submit their name and information to us. We will contact them, try to convince them to do the right thing, or eventually list them for boycotting purpose and historical bashing. When we list the guilty companies, try to avoid their products and services. They will quickly feel it. Notice we are using the word avoid instead of stop. Suppose we list Sears United States or Home Depot on the guilty list. Need may drive you to one of them. Then you can remind them you are still avoiding them on other products. Such echoing in their face will certainly advance our cause. Most companies have websites. Write to them. Tell them how you feel about it. Donate to the project if possible. Buy our products if we consider making any. Pray for us. Think about anything you can possibly do to help. Under normal circumstances, this project should swiftly win its fight.